Welcome to the flowerschool.com video library. I'm Leanne Kessler, Director of the Floral Design Institute, and today I'm here to share with you a fabulous floral table runner. What's a table runner? It's the perfect centerpiece for a feasting table. Weddings are so often using feasting tables, the long rectangular tables, as opposed to the traditional round, and for that, the centerpiece of a floral table runner is absolutely perfect. As I was working, I knew that I wanted to use the Pantone color of the year, Radiant Orchid, and varying hues to create a lovely palette. So I called Yost at Flora Abundance and I said, "Do you think you have anything?" And he said, "Yes, I have lots." I said, "Send me some things." And look what he did. I just said, think about that palette, the Pantone Radiant Orchid. You pick, you choose. And then I opened the box, and it was like being a kid in a candy store. Of course, I have hydrangea and roses, but then he sent me tulips, ranunculus, anemones. Are you drooling yet? And then look at these Phalaenopsis orchids. Ooh la la, they're absolutely fabulous. Spray roses, waxflower, and then to make it all spark, to set it off, a little bit of Dusty Miller and fabulous privet berries. It is going to be gorgeous. I saved the best for last. Yost said he had a surprise for me. He has a whole new fabulous line of succulents. And I thought, oh, okay, fine, let's take a look. Well, I unpacked the box, and they're so carefully packed and protected that they all get to me in perfect condition. And look how fabulous they look with the color palette. Oh, they're stunning. So many different varieties, from the lavender gray into a little softer gray with almost a hint of mint, and then with the tips into that kind of burgundy purple. And then look at this, with both the blush of the Pantone color plus a ruffle. Is that just decadent? It's so fabulous. And then so full and voluptuous, kind of a silvery gray on this one. And then this one, oh my, stunning. You can see he should be excited with his new line. I know I'm excited, and I can't wait to use them in this arrangement. When I create a table runner, I use multiple small containers. That makes it much easier for delivery. So for this, I'm using the deco trays. They come in 3 different sizes. This is the large, and you can take 1, 2, or a dozen or more, and just line them up end to end to fill the table space. Now, as I'm working, I like to start with my sturdy materials first. So I'm going to use the hydrangea, the roses, and the Dusty Miller. And I take, with the hydrangea, I'm going to cut it down. I want the florets, so each individual piece, and give it a fresh cut, and then dipping it into alum. Alum will make it last so much longer. And then placing it down in the foam, making sure it's in nice and deep so that it'll drink. Now as I'm working, one end has to be finished off, because that will be the end at the end of the table. This end does not need to be finished off because it'll be butted up right against. And then this one, if it butts up, doesn't need to be finished until I get to the last piece where I'll need to finish the end again. So you want to think about it as you're working and think, do I need to finish this or not? If it's not, just stick a flower in. And going back with the roses, cutting them short, some to the end, and then grouping them so you get value of having multiple heads together, pulling them up and across, maybe over to the opposite side, maybe starting in the center of this one. And they can be a little bit asymmetrical. Doesn't have to be identical from side to side, coming out the back, and then out the front. Now, if you've worked with Dusty Miller, you know that sometimes it can be a little soft and floppy, makes you crazy. The Florabundance Dusty Miller? No. I can cut this, give it a nice clean cut, and then actually set it directly in the foam without any problem. It goes right in. Isn't that amazing? And I know there are times that you've used it when it doesn't do that. I don't have a problem. If anything, it's almost too hard to cut and then set down in, right into the foam. This variety, it too works equally as well. To the point of I can even take an individual leaf and set it into the foam, and it inserts easily and stays put. So I can feed it in. Isn't that great? So easy to work with, so fabulous, and so long lasting. As I'm working, you'll notice there is still foam showing. It's because there's so much more product still to go. And again, I'm not worrying about finishing off these two ends because they'll be nestled right against each other. Nor am I finishing off this end because it'll be nestled up against another piece as well. So now I'm going to move on to the succulents. They're so fabulous. With these, there's not really a stem to insert into the foam, so I just take a wood pick and pierce it up into the base gently, and then to make sure that it doesn't come out, using just a dab of the Oasis Floral adhesive right at that point of insertion, and then letting that dry. That'll hold it in place. Now I don't need the wire, so I'm just going to cut that off. I'm going to go back and do this with several of them. Just a single wire, and then carefully inserting it in. Now on a piece like this, where it has these dramatic leaves coming out the side, you may break them off. And you just have to be real gentle, insert as you can, and then I think I broke that one. Save it. You can always use it in a boutonniere or a corsage, some other place. They're pretty fabulous. Again, a little bit of the glue. Give it a cut, let it dry. And I like to use a number of different varieties. It makes it so much more interesting. Inserting it down in. Isn't that one gorgeous with the roses? Oh, just fabulous. And maybe even one of these with the tip. Oh my, that's grand. Inserting it down in. Cutting off the wire, adding a dab of glue, and repeat that for however many succulents as you plan to use. Then when you have them all ready, you can go back and the wire just sets right down into the foam, setting it into place, finding a spot for them. Maybe you want to do two together. Bring some to the front, some to the back, and then both sides. The delicate flowers, like the ranunculus, anemones, and tulips, I save for last. And then the little dainty flowers, like the waxflower, privet, and spray roses, I also save. The waxflower is so sturdy and the stem so small that it's perfect when you need to tuck something in down low just to help finish covering the side of the container, but maybe you're starting to run out of room in the foam. This solves that problem. It lets you just sneak in underneath everything else and let it come out down low close to the table. Then you might want to bring some up a little higher as well. You don't want it just at the bottom, but it tucks in so well. Spray roses, they give just a dainty look, bringing in to the side. Maybe even bringing in the buds. And them come out, tucking them down in so it clusters together. Over to the other side. And then as I go to work with the fragile things, the anemones, or excuse me, ranunculus are so gorgeous, and this soft color will look grand nestled in with the hydrangea. So just finding a little spot in the foam and then feeding it in gently. The anemone, so rich and velvety. Giving it a cut and then sliding it in low with the lavender roses, tucking it down in there. The tulips, they can almost be like an anemone, cutting them down and then reflexing the petals. Gives you that same look. Don't they almost like twin sisters side by side? But I'm going to put this one up over on this side. Again, feeding it down low into the foam, tucking it, and then repeating that with materials until you get your foam all covered, and it's absolutely beautiful. As you prepare to deliver, you want to put a number on each one so that you remember the order. 1, 2, and I've made more, 3, 4. That way when you get on site and you lay them on the table, you know that 1 is finished on this end and it's going to go all the way to the end. And then 2 is not finished. It's got a bare side and a bare side here. But you know when you tuck them right together that they'll fit and be beautiful. And then you go back to number 3, scooch the privet berries in, set it into place, and then number 4, again, just sliding it right in, and they all fit together. Now you could stop there, and it's fabulous. It's a wonderful tapestry of color. I'm going to slide them down a little bit centered because I want to show you one more thing. Of course, I can never just stop. I always want to do a little bit more. And the little bit more this time is the Phalaenopsis orchids. So in addition to this fabulous tapestry of color and texture, adding just that little wow item over the top. Taking, looking, got one damaged bloom, so removing him, don't want that. And then letting these come in and just drape over the top of everything else. So I cut it, find a little spot, and let them come and shine out beautifully, letting the buds sit in there. Taking another, maybe letting it come from the opposite side, finding a perfect spot right there, laying over the top. And then maybe one more coming the opposite direction, because it is all-sided. You don't want a front and a back. But just those 3 stems of phales makes this look spectacular. The trend of feasting tables in the wedding world is one of my most favorite trends of all because it allows us to create floral table runners. And they're so grand. And thank you to Florabundance for having so many fabulous flowers that it makes it so easy to do. So even here, in the deepest of winter, where it's cold and dreadful and everything's out of season, you managed to provide me everything I needed for a fabulous table runner. So now it's your turn. What are you going to create with beautiful flowers for a feasting table? If you've got questions, don't hesitate to contact us. I can talk to you about different flowers, the supplies, whatever you need. You can reach us through the website at flowerschool.com or pick up the telephone and give us a call at 1-800-819-8089. And as always, you can reach me through my personal email. It's Leanne, Leanne, @floraldesigninstitute.com. Have fun and do something you love.